Oh my god, I one-shot. Oh! Oh my god, I cleared that. Practicing dark magic. Can I join? Oh, hey guys. Oh damn, we're having a party in here, are we? This is a staring contest? Because I'm winning. Didn't finish, Rama.
I like Khajiit, but I'm spider. I'm a cat, but oh!
Okay, so I've got to be careful with fall damage. Skyrim is a game that you can play in a mind-boggling number of ways. It is to the point that even the strategy that you think would be totally ineffective is a really good way of playing the game. The player is able to make a build of whatever they want, model around whatever they want, and even if they decide to don the red and blue jumpsuit and pretend to be the one and only Peter Parker, they can. Welcome back to Challenge Chronicles. Today's episode, Skyrim as Spider-Man. So, as I'm sure you can tell, I just got done watching the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I absolutely loved the movie, by the way. I highly recommend it. In fact, I liked the movie so much that I wanted to make a challenge of it. The challenge goes as follows. I can't use horses, and instead, I have to web swing to get around. Well, how do you web swing, do you ask? Well, I downloaded this mod, which was a fucking nightmare to set up, I will say, that adds grappling hook spells into the game that I can use to traverse the map. Additionally, I can only attack enemies with my fists, since that's what Spider-Man does. Mostly. Well, obviously I can't shoot webs or throw manhole covers or kick people, so punching people will have to do. Anyways, now that everyone is acclimated to the challenge, let's get right into it. I started this journey just as any tale or story always begins, and that is getting this game to fucking work. Seriously, I know I mentioned how hard it was to implement the grapple mod before, but fuck me. This genuinely took an hour of non-stop troubleshooting to find out what the hell was wrong with my mods. I won't go into it too much, but just know that I eventually got it working. Now that the mods worked, I woke in a carriage headed towards Helgen for my execution because I hopped the border. Christ, there's a bit of a screwed up Spider-Man backstory. When making my character, I ended up going with the Khajiit race because they deal an extra 15 damage with their claws when unarmed. And since we can only use our bare hands, this is preferable. I did some customizing to make myself look as human as possible for a living cat person, and I named myself Spider-Man.
I need photos of Spider-Man.
After creating my character, I was sentenced to death and was moments away from getting my head chopped off before a chance encounter with a flame lizard distracted all the guards long enough for me to make a run for it. I ran through the city and followed Ralof into the keep. He cut my bonds loose and then let me loot one of the corpses on the floor. My favorite. He let me take their weapons, but we aren't going to be using those. Shortly after that, a couple of Imperial scumbags rushed us, and I went into combat for the first time. My claws deal a lot more damage than I would have thought. In fact, I 2 or 3 shot these guys. Had to make sure I was still on Adept a couple of times. I'm on Adept? My fists do a lot more damage than I thought. Moving on, me and Ralof ran through the keep, killing all that lay in our way, and I picked up any piece of armor or weapon I could find in order to sell to suckers like the Riverwood Trader Man. Finally exiting Helgen, I made a beeline for Riverwood so I could sell my stuff and get to work. On the way to Riverwood, I chose the Warrior Stone to make me learn combat skills 20% faster, which would sure come in handy, and that's really all that happened. It's a pretty short little trek. Arriving at Riverwood, I sold all my junk I had in my inventory to the Riverwood Trader Man, and then I was told to go tell the Whiterun Jarl that a dragon attacked Helgen. I have every intention of doing that, but not yet. I have some work that needs to be done. So I have a few things that I need to achieve right off the bat in order to become Spider-Man. To become Spider-Man, I must get the armor of Spider-Man, obtain Spider-Man's web shooters, and upgrade my Spider Punch so I'm on the level of Spider-Man. So as you can see, I have a lot of tasks to do, and all of them begin with me going to Dawnstar. So I traveled to Whiterun and discovered the city before I went to the horse and carriage guy and asked him to go to Riften. Wait, what? Why did I go to Riften? Oh well, I need to come back here anyway. So then I actually went to Dawnstar and then waited a few days for the Khajiit merchant to pop up. Right, now that the Khajiit merchant is here, it's time to grind some levels up with the classic Khajiit merchant glitch. The first order of business is to grind my enchantment level up to 50 or 60 or so I can get a bunch of awesome enchants on my gear that lets me take less damage, have more magicka, and because the grapple hook spells use magicka, I would need that obviously. So I spent a long while taking all the magic items and normal items and soul gems from this chest in Dawnstar in order to disenchant, enchant, and sell my way to level up after level up. I put most of my levels into magicka and health because stamina at this point is worthless. Also, selling all the junk I enchant to the merchant gave me more gold than sense, which is great because I need to go find a heavy armor trainer and get my heavy armor skill up to level 30 so I can snag the Fists of Steel perk. This perk adds the armor class value as damage for my fists, which is great to help me because I'm going to need all the damage I can get. Also, I need an incomprehensible amount of gold to get the actual spell tome for the chain grappling hook spell, because it's
1,300 gold.
Wait, no, never mind, that's a very comprehensible amount of gold. Am I stupid? Eventually, I was able to get my enchant level up and I was able to amass enough gold to be comfortable at this point in the game, so I settled for White Rogue, so I could achieve the first part of my plan to become the web slinger himself. While I was grinding in Dawnstar, I also snagged a bunch of wolf hides, bear skins, and various bits of leather, so I could go to the Skyforge and forge this epic Spider-Man costume. Oh my god, it's so epic.
What?
Well, don't worry about the mask there. It's supposed to look like this, but something about the Khajiit model fucks with the texture for some reason. Nevertheless, the first part of my plan is complete. Now it's time to join the companions. Wait, what? Why? Because I need to unlock Farkas as a trainer of heavy armor. So I did the shitty little fetch quest of give man sword to other man and give shield to woman before I was finally able to get Farkas to tell me how to hit things good. Eventually, Farkas was able to get me to level up my heavy armor skill. I leveled it up a few times and then I headed back towards Dawnstar in order to grind some levels up a little more before I headed to Riften. Why Riften? Because there is an enchanted item hidden deep in the sex dungeons of Riften's sewage system that will greatly help me on my travels. The item I am of course talking about is this, the Gloves of the Pugilist. They have an enchant that I want, Fortify Unarmed. So now with that item being obtained, it's time to head back to Dawnstar to grind my enchantment level up even more in order to get that Fortify Unarmed enchantment on some heavy armor gloves in order to completely maximize the amount of damage that my fists do. After getting my enchant skill up to scratch, I actually went to Farengar at Dragon's Reach in order to finally buy the chain grappling hook spell, meaning my web shooters have been officially obtained. Only one thing left to do now, and that is to buff the absolute fuck out of my Spider-Man armor and gauntlets with enchants so I deal as much damage as possible. After enchanting my armor at Farengar's enchanting table, I went down to the War Maidens and bought the heaviest armor gauntlets that they had to offer and slapped the Fortify Unarmed enchantment on it. Now I have officially become the legendary web slinger, Spider-Man. My fists now do about 40 to 50 damage per swing, my magicka pool is about as big as the average price for a house in Sydney, and I look freaking swag. Now that I have embraced my identity as Spider-Man about 1 hour and a half into the run, it's time to get on with the main story. I rocked up to the Jarl of Whiterun and told him about the dragon at Helgen, and he responded by introducing me to his court wizard, who I definitely have never met before in my life. Farengar then told me to go get the Dragonstone from Bleak Falls Barrow, so I started web-slinging my way towards the dungeon. As I exited the city, however, I grappled towards the gates, grappled to the ground, hit maximum velocity, and died.
Go cause your fancy.
Okay, so I gotta be careful of fall damage. Well, I am Spider-Man, but I guess I still need to watch out for fall damage. After I got up and brushed myself off, I went on my first mountain climbing adventure towards Bleak Falls Burrow. On the way up, I one-shotted a wolf and zipped up to this bandit hideout and absolutely destroyed them with my hands. Oh my god, nice. Oh my god, I one-shot. Oh! Oh my god, I cleared that. That was amazing. Then I arrived at Bleak Falls Burrow. The bandits outside of the tomb were extremely easy to deal with, as were the ones inside talking about the Golden Claw. Progressing through the tomb, I discovered that I can two-shot normal Drago, and I was able to take out the spider boss with ease. I then freed Arvil only to murder him seconds later, and then progressed further into the tomb. I annihilated the Drago in my way, and even gave this one a real classic Dead by Daylight mining game and then I reached the boss room. I got the word of power, and then I absolutely annihilated the boss before he was even able to do anything. That was so easy. That was so easy. Am I still an adept? That was crazy. Jesus. My god, this punching build is actually a really good way to speedrun the game. Anyway, I nabbed the Dragonstone and then headed back towards Whiterun. Chatted up the Khajiit outside of the city, and then decided that I need to grind a tad more in order to get some better enchants on my armor. So I headed back to Dawnstar. After what felt like a millennia, I finally got my enchanting level up to 60 and then fully enchanted my armor and new plate gauntlets, as well as a ring for extra unarmed damage and a necklace that makes it so I can cast web shooters a lot more. Right, now that I'm OP as I can possibly be, I went back to Thurin Fart and gave him his dumb rock or whatever. Then it was finally time to take on the dragon. Since I had been destroying everything so far, I was eager to find out how much damage I would do against the dragon. So after talking to the Jarl and zipping around the room as the cutscene played out, I zipped to the western watchtower and saw the beast arrive. I couldn't grapple up to him, so I just let him land and then I got my slammers out and started laying into him. I was surprised with how much damage I did, but was not overly blown away. It's not like I two-shot him or anything, but I did a lot more damage than I thought. I was able to defeat him relatively quickly, and then I absorbed the dragon's soul, which is very common Spider-Man power, and then I zipped towards Dragon Reach in order to talk to Jarl. He yapped on and on about how the Greybeards have summoned me and that's an honor for me to do such a thing, yada yada, you know the drill. After I woke up from the nap I took in the middle of his lecture, I went on another mountain climbing adventure to try and get to High Hrothgar. Getting up the mountain was pretty straightforward, and the enchants that I acquired to increase my magicka pool were definitely helping a lot. I eventually got up to the castle, which is great because that means I completely skipped the fight with the ice troll. I spoke to Arangir and did his little dragonborn initiation where I learned the whirlwind sprint shout, and then I was told to go retrieve the horn of Jürgen Windcaller from Oostengrav. So I grappled myself down from the mountain and began web swinging my way towards Oostengrav. On the way there, I ran into some bandits and one-shot some wolves, and then I discovered Labyrinthian where I got my head caved in by an average Warzone fan. When I arrived at Oostengrav, I absolutely demolished the people outside of the dungeon. What's up, guys? Practicing dark magic? Damn, that was easy. And then headed inside, where I continued to whoop total ass with my fists. Yeah, sometimes I wanna, find a necromancer that doesn't resurrect a bandit outlaw. But nah, guess they're all the same. See ya, dude. That was so easy. What's up, dude? Oh, hey, guys. Oh, damn, we're having a party in here, are we? This is a staring contest? Because I'm winning.
Damn you.
Didn't finish, Rama. What's up, dude? This is a staring contest? Because I think I'm winning. After dealing with the necromancers, I headed deeper into the tomb, where I annihilated more skeletons, and then I progressed towards the flame room, where I had to kill my own brethren before I ended up in the final chamber, where I found a piece of paper telling me to go to Riverwood. Amazing. When I traveled to Riverwood, I was approached by some Mormons preaching the gospel who wanted me to convert, so I dealt with them the way I always deal with these people. After that, I met Delphine in Riverwood, where she explained to me that we have to go to Kynesgrove to kill a dragon. So I started web swinging over there. On the way there, I ran into some flame atronachs, beat up a bear, died, got to Kynesgrove, and then died again.
Where is this dragon? I will take care of it, for I am a Spadori man. Look at me crouch and jump. I'm Spadori man. I like Khajiit, but I'm Spider. I'm a cat, but
Holy shit, dude. That was fucking amazing. After that, however, I dusted myself off and went toe-to-toe with the dragon that just got freshly reincarnated. I was able to kill it insanely quickly, so much so that I was a little shocked. I then talked to Delphine, and she said that we need to talk more at Riverwood. So I traveled to Riverwood, and she said that I would need to infiltrate a Thalmor group gooning session in order to stop dragons from coming back or something. Now it was time to travel to Solitude, but before I did that, I went back to the Greybeards to return the horn thing and get screamed at. After that, I began web swinging towards Solitude to meet up with Malborn. On the way there, I got sick of the sack on my head and just decided, fuck it, took it off to reveal my cat face to the world, and then replaced it with an enchanted circlet. Also, on the way to Solitude, I defeated another dragon by using my spider rage, and then arrived in Solitude, where I bought another circlet that I never enchanted. Explored the Blue Palace a bit, and then I spoke to Malborn. I gave him all of my clothes and spider armor, and then I donned this party outfit before beginning the trip to the Falmer embassy. As is customary at any shadow government blunt rotation, I gave the recovering alcoholic a drink of absinthe and then fled the scene while he started pledging allegiance to Israel. After that, I got to the chest with all my stuff, donned my Spider-Man outfit again, and then started to work my way through the Falmer. I dealt a lot more damage to them than I would have thought. In fact, they were all dead in no time. I gained access to the torture dungeon, and then beat the absolute snot out of this Falmer soldier that was begging for mercy. I was considering sparing her, but I don't trust Nazis. Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm so violent and why I'm killing everyone, especially since I'm supposed to be Spider-Man, and Spider-Man doesn't kill. Well, thanks to Spider-Verse existing, I can just make this excuse that in this universe, Spider-Man does kill, and is a cat for some reason. Anyway, I freed the prisoner in the torture dungeon and spent 1,000 million years searching for the key to open the trapdoor, only to Google where the key was and find out that I had to read the Esben file I found in the chest so 2 Falmer goons could come in as the script requires. I can't explain why I don't just automatically know where the key is at this point. I've done this far too many times to be making this mistake. I killed the Falmer that brought Malborn into the basement, and then I was able to snag the key and then escorted Malborn and the prisoner off the premises. After that, I headed back to Riverwood to inform Delphine of my tales of woe, and then was told to go find Esben in the Ratway at Riften. Good news!
Good news, everyone!
If you'll remember, I've already cleared the Ratway at Riften, so I just fast traveled over there and waltzed on through the catacombs. I fought the Falmer that was searching for Esben, accidentally transported myself to the Shadow Realm for a moment, and then I talked to Esben. After taking a nap through his lecture about Alduin, I convinced him to come with me to Riverwood. After that, I led him to the exit of the Ratway, annihilated the Falmer that followed, and then made it to Riverwood. Esben and Delphine were reunited now, and Esben told me it was time to go find Alduin's wall at Karthspire. I exited Riverwood and started absolutely hooning towards Karthspire at Mark 5, leaving Esben and Delphine in the dust. Don't worry, I'm sure they'll be able to catch up. After I reached Karthspire, I attempted many times to deal with the Forsworn guarding the entrance, but there was always this one Forsworn with insane accuracy on the Ice Spike spell, so like they have to be using hacks. I mean, look at that. That is definitely aimbot. Anyway, after about my 4th or so death to these discount cave people, I just realized, oh yeah, I'm Spider-Man. I have web shooters. So I just kind of grappled to the entrance of the cave and kept going like nothing happened. I absolutely just speeded through the temple that followed because Spider-Man doesn't have time for that stuff. And then I cut myself on the hand because everyone always asks who is Spider-Man, but no one ever asks how is Spider-Man. Like and share if you love his Spider-Man. Anyway, I got inside the Tomb of Annihilation or whatever it is and bolted towards the back because there is something here that I absolutely need. The Blade Gauntlets. These have such a high armor rating, it's nuts, which means I will be able to enchant it and it will deal more damage with my heavy armor perk and... oh. It only does 1 more armor rating than my current armor. Fuck this stupid game. After that, I waited 14 years for Esben to do his Alduin speech, and then I had to find out how to learn to shout Dragon Rend. So it was time to take off to High Hrothgar. I couldn't fast travel immediately out of Karthspire because the dragon that I ignored earlier is a widow that craves attention, so I had to swing almost all the way to High Hrothgar before I could fast travel. After talking to Arangir, it became clear that I had to go talk to Parthenax and ask him about the shout. So I followed the Greybeards, learned the Clear Skies shout, used it on the mist, and then spun my webs in the complete opposite direction up the mountain because I'm literally Spider-Man. I got to the thread of the world in record time and talked to Parthenax. He told me that only an Elder Scroll would have the knowledge that I seek, and then told me to piss off to the College of Winterhold because the nerds there probably know a thing or two about Elder Scrolls and shouts. So I took off to Winterhold, impressed the elf at the front by shouting at her, and then when I went up to the library, I learned of Septimus Sigmus, and then tried to swing out the window like a boss. Not once. Oh shit. Not twice. Oh shit. Not thrice. Oh fuck. But for... quite... Yup. Quite. Gonna stick with that one. Yep, that's probably a word. After web swinging across the ice caps at the speed of sound, I talked to Septimus and learned of the location of Alfdand. Now, let me tell you something. I hate Alfdand as much as the next guy. So I set myself a little challenge within this challenge. With a newfound Spider-Man powers, how fast could I speedrun Alfdand? Let's see. Here's a little montage.
Another of the smooth skins looking for food?
This is the fastest I've ever done Alfdan. This is crazy. Oh my god. Holy shit. I just finished Alfdan. Dude, that took me like 8 minutes.
8 minutes! 8 minutes exactly! No freaking way. That's the fastest I've ever done Alfdan. With the Elder Scroll in hand, it was time to head back to the Throne of the World. I traveled back, read the scroll at the time wound, and witnessed the 3 Nord heroes defeat. No, I'm just kidding. If you think I'm watching this stupid ass cutscene, then you're wrong. I'm enjoying some quality Doom Scroll time. After that, it was time to fight Alduin with my slammers. I took a fair amount of damage during this fight, but nothing my healing spells couldn't handle. I did accidentally Dragon Rend Path and Axe at some point, however, that was annoying. Even so, my Spider-Man funk proved to be far too much for what Alduin could handle, and he pissed off to Sovngarde. Now it's time to go to Dragon's Reach in order to convince the Jarl of Whiterun to trap a dragon in his palace. And he said he wouldn't unless I literally achieve world peace. A small order, surely, for Spider-Man. So I went to Windhelm and convinced Jarl Ulfric to attend the peace meeting, and did the same with General Tullius in Solitude. After convincing both sides to join, I attended the Peace Summit and sat and tried to be as fair as possible to both sides at the Peace Summit agreements. After that, I learned of the shout to call a dragon, and then I went to Dragon's Reach so I could catch myself an overgrown talking lizard with wings. After calling the dragon once, for some reason I mistimed the call dragon shout and the shout bar never depleted for whatever reason. So I just kinda sat there and watched as he slowly slaughtered the rest of the Whiterun guards until I reloaded a save. After reloading, I was able to Dragon Rend the dragon no problem, and trapped him before he cost us too many casualties. I mean, it's not like I really care how many Whiterun guards he kills, I just want to get this over with. I talked with Odoving and convinced him to take me to Skaldarfen. I freed him and rode him to the final part of the game. At Skaldarfen, I used my web swinging skills to completely skip over the final dungeon and go straight to the portals of Sovngarde. I'm not even kidding. I completely skipped over it. I web swinged my way all the way towards the Hall of Valor, but not before I was stopped by some dweeb trying to sell me car insurance or something. I actually swung to the Hall of Valor so incredibly fast that I actually saw Alduin just chilling in the sky. I wonder if I could kill him early if I was allowed to use arrows. Maybe good information to know for a future speedrun. Running up to Sun, I now have to fight him in order to get past the Bridge of Bones or whatever it's called. Not gonna lie, even with a super over-the-top unarmed build, Sun is one powerful dude. This guy slammed me into the dirt more times than I'd like to admit, but I eventually got the better of him and was granted access to the Hall of Valor. Running inside, I met the 3 Nord heroes, got them rallied up to defeat Alduin, and when we walked out, the hero said that the mist is covering up Alduin's presence, even though I literally just saw him a few minutes prior, but that's okay, I guess. I cleared the mist, and out came Alduin. I cast Dragon Rend on him, and then it was pretty much all over in a flash. I completely let loose on Alduin with my fists, and he died incredibly quickly. Alduin was defeated, he turned into a KFC Wicked Wing, and Sun congratulated me on defeating the World Eater, and sent me back to the mortal realm. And that's it. That's a wrap. I just completed Skyrim as Spider-Man. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of another video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button. Alternatively, if you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and hit that dislike button and feel free to go down to the comments to complain. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, helps me out a lot, and you can always change your mind later. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching Challenge Chronicles, and I'm out of here.